Hello and welcome back. This time I want to talk about Houkago no Meikyuu Boukensha, or in English, After School Dungeon Diving. Houkago Boukensha is a manga series currently being written by Hitsuji Gamei and being drawn by Flatfish. It is most likely based on a novel by the author Hitsuji Gamei. It is currently sitting on volume 1, chapter 10, and each chapter sports around 28 pages per se. It is being officially published on COMICRIDE.JP, which is different from Manga Plus and other, let's say, bigger publishers and or streaming platforms like a Manga Plus, Comic something, and there was another one that I forgot the name, but yeah, which are all owned by big companies like Kudo Akira, Square Enix, etc. Comic.jp seems to be smaller, so there is no official English release so far, and you can't, well, obviously you can't read an official English release through the app because there isn't none. The app kind of works like a Manga Plus, but you have to buy more coins to read the chapters, the latest chapters. However, the coins are somewhat cheaper, I guess, but you gotta know Japanese. So, there are all of these things that you gotta take into consideration before embarking on this app. Houkago Boukensha is a manga. It's basically an adventure slash fantasy with romance and H, if you could say that, undertones, which follows the story of Kudo Akira, or Akira, the first name, who's a boy that it seems like it hasn't been confirmed yet, at least not in the manga. So I'm not gonna talk about more things that go after the classic first chapter, which you can read for free in the app or find online translated, which I can't tell the resources or the sources that you can find a manga for obvious reasons. But yeah, you can read the original Japanese raw from the official website COMICRIDE.JP. But basically follows the adventures of Akira and his sort of kind of after school adventures in another world. So I'm not gonna go too deep into this because I think that you should read by yourself if you think it sounds interesting, or if you trust my recommendations, which I would assume so, based on what I've been doing so far. So yeah, one of the chapters kind of how can I say, showcases Akira back on Earth. He's sleeping in his house in presumably Japan, and he's got presumably a Switch console on his bed and a smartphone. So I guess you can make a logical conclusion that yeah, he is living in current society. However, somehow he can go back to the society, to this fantasy world, kind of like Narnia and other mangas that have explored the trope, like that one that the guy can. There was one for a guy and there was one for a girl, like that they can swap between worlds. One of them is like my overpowered skill, whatever, which is extremely generic, with also generic drawings, I guess. But I don't even think that he ever made into a manga. I think it was a novel straight up adapted into an anime, which, if I'm not mistaken, too, it's being released this season. The new season, season 2, is being released, or it was released last season. I'm almost sure about these things. Or that one that I think a girl or a guy, I think there were both actually, to be honest, that they could swap between current Earth and previous in the fantasy land, and they could just swap money. But it's not the same thing for Akira in this series, specifically because he claims during one of the latest chapters that to him the money in that world, it's like cryptocurrency, doesn't even exist, which is pretty funny, by the way. But yeah, and it follows the stories, his story, and how he saved a slave girl called Skreru, which basically is an elven girl. It's an elf girl, and she wants to demonstrate her gratitude towards him, while the manga also follows his story and his misadventures, if you could call that. How the guild worker, the guild secretary, wants him to keep clearing like high level content, high level dungeons, if you could say that, or dives as they call in the series, so that he can sell materials to the guild for a big profit, because the guild apparently also profits from the materials that their divers provide, but also mixes in other characters like his master, which is like pretty funny, and it's a magician, a mage, and another girl that he helps, Eldrid, which is a beast woman, and of course his misadventures and how he is basically a purple magician, as they call it in the world of Domelda, which is a magician, that a mage that controls lightning magic, and was unheard of until his existence into that world. So yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, so far, obviously, it's still short. It's still on chapter 10, but it has been pretty solid. It has been entertaining so far. The drawings are good. The story is okay. It's your very typical, you know, air quotes, isekai uh, type of thing. And if you're tired of those tropes, which I admit I am, but I think that if the work itself is good, if it holds any entertaining value or entertainment value, then I would give it a try, which is basically what I did with this one. So yeah, that's why I'm actually recommending it. I think it's a good read, like it's a good hobby type of read. The drawings are really good. The characters are funny. They are, relatable. They are the girls, like Skrill and Eldred. They're pretty cute and they're well drawn and etc. And you have funny scenes. You have a new character that has been added in the latest chapters, which is basically kind of sort of like a rival to Akira. So yeah, I think it's worth checking your time. So I'll see you all in the next recommendation.